Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the T&T Podcast. Here with your boy Torres Finney and my co-host Tyler Layfield. What's up, Tyler?
Nothing much, man. Vacations, hanging out. It's about time to go back to work for you, boy. So starting back literally tomorrow. So
That's
pray for
awesome,
me.
man.
Pray
That's
for me.
awesome. Hey, it's about that time to get back into school, dude. About that time also for me getting there to fight. I
Oh yeah.
know I haven't been on here podcast wise lately. Been doing a lot of training, traveling and training. So that's just been the main focus for me right now. And yeah, that's that's probably how it's been. It's funny. I get to travel, but it's not a vacation. It's fun to
Mm-hmm.
experience, but it's business. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely enjoying that. But yeah, finally though, the hot topic. I finally got the opportunity to play college football 25. Um, what made me mad though is I bought the 3 day early release. It gets released 3 days earlier before
How
everybody
much
else.
was that just to get it 3 days early?
99. It was 99. So
Compared
I
to what, 75 or whatever?
75. Yeah.
Okay, so
So it's
okay,
nothing too crucial. I thought it was 75 or 69. One of them. I don't know.
something like that. Yeah.
But I was hoping that. I didn't know. So my fight camp got made about last month. So into like what I was going to be doing for this entire month. So I didn't know if I was going to be home or not. And obviously I was not home. And yeah, I didn't get a chance to play it. But besides the fact, once I finally got home to play it, it was really fun, and it's actually a really good game, man. They actually put some work into it. Like right now, I'm playing a lot of Road to Glory. And
Okay.
I have a quarterback, and I picked a school. I picked 4 star. I didn't want to go straight in as a 5 star because, I want to have a little play. Make do some effort.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I've already heard the news about if you pick yourself to be like a walk on or a 2 star, you're not gonna play. You got to wait like 2 or 3 years before you finally step on the
Oh
field, and I feel
wow.
like that's crazy. But
Yeah.
um, I have a quarterback. I selected Northwestern, so I can have a school to, in a good conference like the Big Ten, somebody be able to play. I mean, I had SEC offers, but to none of the one, I wasn't going to start at any of the schools that they had me offered as. And like one of my best chances to play would be at Vandy. And I was like, I'm not going to play at Vandy with their skill set. So I had to like, I said, let me see what I can do the best of. And I saw Northwestern. They have a solid defense. They actually got some good skill players. So I played with them, and I'm in the playoffs. I made it all. Our record was 10-2, lost to Oregon and Clemson, sadly. So yeah, but we're in the playoffs, first round, Texas A&M. So I'm just having some fun with them. I'm having some fun. So Tyler, have you had an opportunity to play yet?
I have. I was gonna ask you what do you call it? What level of gameplay are you on? Are you on what's the difference, like, the difficulty levels?
So you have freshman, you
Okay,
have
we weren't doing that.
varsity, and then you have All American, and then you have Heisman.
We were
I
doing,
am
I think we were playing All American when I played.
okay. See, that's the thing. I am
It's
currently
hard.
playing on varsity. I
Yeah.
am not
All
on
American was pretty difficult.
All American's hard. Heisman
Yeah.
is stupid hard. And
Yeah.
I tell people this all the time when I play video games because I am always competing. All I do is train and fight. I want to finally have a time to where my brain can rest. Let me have some fun. I play the game to enjoy. I don't play the game to like get no crazy like competition rush or something like that because I'm always competing. So when I finally sit down and play a video game, I want to enjoy. I know other people be like, man, I want to play on the hardest difficulty. That might be good for y'all because some of y'all might not do what I do all the time. So when I'm always competing, I'm always in that mindset. I'm like, all right, let me chill. Let me just play the game. Let me just
Mm-hmm.
have fun, enjoy. I don't need a Heisman. Like, I don't need to be in here yelling and pissed off at
Yeah.
the freaking game because I can't even complete a pass on Heisman. Man, so I don't
Offense is
want
hard. That's one thing I learned. Offense, to me, offense was harder than defense. So what I did, I went to a good friend of the show, Zach Smith's place, played with him last Wednesday, stayed at his place from around 6 to 1:15 in the morning. We,
wow.
yeah, dude. But the time flew. It didn't feel like it. But we played a couple head to heads. First game, I was Georgia. He was. I'm trying to think about who. Of course, I wanted to play Georgia again, just to
Yeah,
get it
yeah,
out
yeah.
of the way. I wanted to
That's
see it.
right.
He
I
didn't
played
know
Georgia
what.
first game as well. I played Georgia
Yeah,
first game.
he didn't know what level of gamer I was really. We'd never really played together like that. It's been years since I played any football game. Like the last football game I probably had was the Odell Beckham Jr. Madden. You know what I'm saying? That was that
Oh,
Madden 17 or 18.
2013,
Yeah,
14,
I don't even know. I don't even know at this point. It was
14.
sometime in college. I don't even know, but
Mm.
I was still playing it. But I got out there. I was playing with them, and I can't remember who he played as, but it was just it was started getting ugly. Like it we got to like 21. And he's like, we can't keep playing. He's like, we'll pick a different one. So what we did then was we did the three randoms, and then you could pick from those three, or you could do a suicide. And if you press suicide, that you're automatically stuck with that one. So I ended up getting TCU against. I'm trying to think about the team. LSU. He had LSU just torching me, just torching me, dude. And it was on the not the Heisman, but the one below. What'd you say it was
All
called?
American. All
All
American.
American. And dude, it was just hard to find people open. Like for me, it was just ridiculous. Then we got on to Dynasty mode. One thing I used to do with my buddy Cameron Wood when we were in high school, we would stay up till 3, 4 in the morning eating snacks and just no life in Dynasty. Like we were Georgia. I was the defense coordinator. He was offensive coordinator. Whenever we were playing a game, whenever we were on offense, he had the controller. Whenever we were on defense, I had the controller. We would just, try to match up all that. So we did that. We did that for a little bit. Zach and I did. And started off with me being OC. And I was like, I don't know, dude, you might be making a mistake here. And sure enough, I threw like 2 pick sixes. And I was like, we got to switch this thing up.
Coaching change.
And yeah, coaching change. We switched it up, and we were going against Clemson. Clemson just absolutely torched me. Some white dude, some white slot receiver, just burned me the whole freaking second half. So we lost to Clemson. We won the next two games. We ended up scheduling. We took out the FCS team and we put North Texas in there, and they run some kind of weird defense where it's just like three down linemen. Everybody else is it's like I don't know. So it was giving Zach fits on that one, but ended up doing. We ended up winning that one. Then the third game was who? Auburn. I think it may be no,
Mhm.
maybe Auburn, maybe Auburn. I don't know. I can't remember. But we handled. Oh no, it was Kentucky. We handled Kentucky pretty good. Then we got to Alabama, and it was pretty difficult.
Dang.
Ended up, yeah. I don't know if you have you
Was y'all
done have
playing
you
All
done
American? Was y'all playing All American?
All American the whole time, dude. It was difficult. I got the defense down pretty good. Like I was holding Bama, like I was getting 4 and outs here and there and everything. But then there was be sometimes Kendrick Law. This dude just according to this game, this guy's just freaking like Henry Ruggs, like he's just fast. So then Milrow. It don't matter. You can hit stick this dude every day of the week. He's never gonna fumble it. He's never gonna fumble the freaking ball. Like I'm out there just doing my best. I had a pick six. Malachi Starks is a goon on that game, by the way. Malachi is awesome on defense. I was out there getting picks with him. But it came down the last drive, last second. We had the ball with 10 seconds left on their 2 yard line or something like that. Just couldn't punch it in, so we ended up losing that one. So,
Dang.
and then each week we're doing our little recruiting thing where you put hours toward different recruits. So that's really fun. Like
That
it's a
is
really
fun.
fun
It
game.
makes it real. Yeah, it makes
I
it
might
real.
need to. I really might need to invest in like a. I don't know. What are you on Xbox or PS5?
I'm on PS5.
I might need to go get a PS5. I'm
Yeah.
really thinking about it. I'm going to have to think about it, man. It gave me some serious thought, but it was fun. I want to try the Road to Glory one day. I hear there's an Ultimate Team. I might want to try that out. I've always been one like on 2K and Madden to do the My Teams and the Ultimate Teams, collecting the cards and stuff like that, making your own team out of like different players and stuff. I thought that'd be pretty neat. So I'm interested in doing that. But your main focus has been Road to Glory, right?
Yeah, I've been mainly focused on Road to Glory.
Have you
Like,
done any like online matches or anything like that?
no, because Road to Glory is like when you're playing as your individual guy,
Mm-hmm.
and like I play as a quarterback. So I'm in college. And like I said, Northwestern, obviously, but you have different things. So you got to make sure your GPA. You have to make sure you spend energy on studying. So my GPA right now is 3.7. So I'm doing good there.
Not too
Um,
bad.
and then, but you also got to continue to build up fans, and also build trust with the coaches, and then build
Mm-hmm.
up your team leader. And
Does
then you got to
NIL is NIL in there at all? Or
NIL. Yes, I got it. I
okay.
got like two NIL. I got one from a sports company and another one from a pizza place. So,
Mm.
and then like you get text messages from like random girls. Hey, you want to go to a party? Or one of
Uh-oh.
my teammates asked, like, hey, I got answers to the exam for tomorrow.
Ooh.
You want to cheat? You know, and like
Yeah.
I'm like this is it's crazy.
Yeah, that's
It's
funny.
some real stuff that went on in college. That was funny, boy, because it's like
Yeah.
all that stuff I'm reading. I'm like, what? Or like
Uh-oh.
now one was funny. I saw one on Twitter. They had one for Georgia. They said, "Hey, you
Drink
want to
and
go do a
drive.
95 and a 30?"
Yeah, something like, yeah, good God.
Oh my gosh.
All the time it
Oh,
feels like this is happening, bro.
I
All
know.
the
Why does it
time.
feel like it happened every year?
And I
Every year.
guess while we're here on it, let's just throw it out there. Yeah, there's been more stuff. We saw the Raw Thomas stuff. He is suspended indefinitely. This is his like second type thing. Because if you recall when we first got him, he got into trouble immediately, like the first week within us getting him on the team.
Mhm.
But it was for like something with his younger brother. He takes care of his younger brother. He's and I, not to take up for this guy at all, but he's been put in a position, or he better yet, he's put himself in a position where he's had to grow up quick. He got with some girl that was really young, ended up having, a baby. His parents aren't really in the picture. He's having to take care of his younger sibling. But needless to say, I think from what I've gathered, and I haven't gathered a ton out of it, so don't, take everything and run with it. But from what I've seen, I think he slapped his younger brother. And I know different families are different ways. Some families believe that you can pop people in the mouth. Trust me, I've talked to some parents of students of mine. They believe in that. They think it's all fine and dandy. Mine didn't do that. It was like belt whoopings and stuff like that. But some families they think that's okay. Well, he did it, and he's also been getting into it with his baby mama and stuff like that. So, needless to say,
Hold
it's
up.
his second infraction.
He popped his own brother in the mouth.
Yes, younger brother, because he's taking care of the younger brother. That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard.
Hey, okay, but so is there like a legality thing going on with that? Like, is there a lawsuit going on with that or no?
From what I saw, it was like cruelty, child cruelty, or something like that. Because technically, the kid's a minor still. Yeah, it's
Oh.
just, and the thing
Now,
is,
if he's beating on the kid, I'm not defending him. But if he's beating on the kid, yes,
yeah,
that is awful. That's wrong. But I'm like, you get in trouble and you get smacked in the mouth. I mean,
it's
my
just,
mom
you know
used
what
to
I'm
do
saying.
something like that.
You
Like again,
see,
you're
yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying. Some families are like that, and
yeah,
like I remember when we were growing up, Adrian Peterson. I remember he got in trouble for spanking his kid or something one time. You remember
yeah,
that?
yeah. I
And they
remember
got
that.
on to him. So it's just it's a a thin line with it. Like it's a gray area. Sometimes it can be looked at okay, sometimes not. Needless to say, officers got involved and stuff like that. So it took a whole nother thing. I don't know if he'll be back. I don't think he will. If I had to guess, he's also had some speeding stuff that's come out. Like you were just saying, David Daniel Sisavon. He was a depth piece safety. Didn't think he'd play much, but he's been dismissed from the program. He
Mhm.
had, I think, 11 tickets in his time in Athens. So it's kind of a no brainer there. I feel
Uh,
like on that. So
most people don't even get 11. People don't even get 11 tickets in a lifetime. What?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
what?
And from people that I've heard talk about it, like these coaches, they've talked with other coaches from other schools. They say Georgia is not the only one that this is happening, and Georgia is just the only one that's this stuff is coming into light, and police are actually getting involved in it. Like they're saying other schools, like the police either just turn the other way or things of that nature, and it never really gets reported. But I don't know. Athens Clark County, man, they're out to get them. They're out to get them.
God,
So
get 'em. It is weird. So like when you think about it, you think
don't
about a
understand
school
it.
like Georgia. And look, you gotta remember, this is a good point. I was watching one of Kirby's interviews and he's talking about like how NIL's changed the game where people
Mm.
get offered cars now, people get offered houses, people get offered tickets and stuff like that. On more money, obviously. With now with the NIL and what it has done to the game now, you're gonna be seeing a lot more people in faster cars. You're gonna see a lot more people in nicer things. So some of these young athletes who just get out of high school are obviously gonna be taking advantage of it. And when they take advantage, it's most more times than not, it's probably not gonna be for the best reasons. And you giving these kids these cars, they're obviously going to try to push the limits. They're obviously going to see how fast it can go. They're obviously going to see what they want to do with it. And so now when you're seeing that, you're like, all right, which school's going to allow what to happen? Because some schools are going to be okay with it. Like you said, some police officers are not going to be as lenient. You want to know why? Because hey, These guys like, man, my college, this team has been sorry this whole career. I want my team to win. I don't want to ever jeopardize my favorite team, which not ever obviously thing like that. You got to uphold the law, but some
Mm-hmm.
of them guys might be like, hey man, I want my team to do well. I don't want to be putting one of our best players behind bars and he can't play because he gets suspended. Where in Georgia's case, Georgia, after would you say Clark County, like them
Yeah.
boys they don't care what's going on. They're literally upholding the law. Like, and I know people get like, I see some people on social media getting mad at some of the officers, and I'm like, bro, y'all don't understand. I don't care how young they are. They putting
Still shouldn't be
another
doing it.
family at risk.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You got to be ludicrous. You can't be going like that. Like there was one
Mm-mm.
player in Miami, or where was it? It was an NFL player. No, for the Arizona Cardinals. Marquise Brown. The man was going what 130 or 120
Mm.
on a 70 miles per hour road. He gets pulled over. He's everybody wondering like, sir, you get out the car. Like the police was mad, but people always asking like, why is he acting like that? Da, 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 da. Bro, the
You were
man is
going
going
well over the speed limit.
120 miles per hour. He's going 130 miles per hour. You can't do.
Yeah.
You're putting people's lives at risk, let alone your own life. So
Mm-hmm.
no, I am not mad at what they are doing. It's more on the school. It's more on the athletes. That's who you have to put the blame on. You don't look at the people that are upholding them to do the right thing. You uphold the people that are not doing it. That like, hey man, we got to find a solution for this. So, and it just only going to continue to grow because of NIL and the money that's been added to it. So,
Shit, yeah, like you said, it's even happening at the professional level. Like Marquise
mhm.
Brown, Rashi Rice, one of the
You're
big
right.
receivers for the Chiefs. We still don't know. I mean, suspension still hasn't been handed down to him, but I mean, that was a big wreck, and there was a lot involved in that, weed and everything like that. So,
Then you ran
oh
away
man,
from it. Come on,
yep,
man.
it's a problem just about everywhere. So, yeah. So, man, let's talk about last night. I know you were keeping up with the UFC 304. I was able to see some of the stuff that happened with it. I know I think we talked about this one ahead of time. We kind of discussed this, but Paddy Pimblett, in his match, and you
That's
kind of
right.
highlighted some others. How did you see? I mean, we talked about how we saw it kind of falling through, but what was your main takeaways from the night?
Well, just the main card, looking at Arnold Allen and Giga Chikadze, good
Mm-hmm.
fight, good technical fight on the feet. Arnold Allen, ooh, he finally got back in the win column. He did what he had to do what he can to get back in the win column. He looked phenomenal in that fight. I think I would say he lost the first round, but he came back, took a flying knee to the head, but kept going, and he took those next two rounds, and he looked really good, man. Big props to Arnold Allen in that fight. RoboCop. Gregory Rodriguez against Christian Leroy Duncan. RoboCop is a beast. Boy took it towards Leroy. Now them boys were banging inside, but man, RoboCop does not back up for anybody, and he walks forward. He's got great jiu-jitsu. He's got great power.
RoboCop.
Oh
Okay.
man, yeah, they call him RoboCop.
RoboCop.
Like that's a bad
That's a
man, dude.
mean name right there, for
That's
real.
a I know, right?
I ain't never heard nobody call him
RoboCop.
RoboCop.
Because he don't back up. He don't know what backing up is, and he walks forward
Sounds
like
like
RoboCop. Just
Strickland kind of Strickland. He's always
yeah,
moving forward. It feels
a
like.
Strickland style. But Strickland, I mean, Strickland does walk forward, but he's a lot more hesitant. How he throws.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
RoboCop,
yeah.
boom, boom,
Okay.
boom, boom,
Yeah.
right?
Uh huh.
So it's that was a great fight to watch, and he dominated it. Blood everywhere, but he looked good. Uh,
Okay.
now King Green, since that's his new name, changed his
Yeah,
name.
I noticed that. Yeah. What happened with that?
He went to the
He just
courts,
changed
changed his name. Yeah, no longer
Chad
Bobby.
Ochocinco.
Yep, Chad Ojo. It's crazy. He fought Patty Pimilton, and what I said weeks ago about this card, I was so surprised that they had Patty Pimilton as the underdog. He was plus 120. By the time the fight started, it was pick'em. They both was minus 110. And I told everyone, I was telling everybody that was betting my Andrew, my boy Andrew Collins. Andrew was like,
Oh yeah.
uh Feeney, what's the fights to get on? He always asks me every weekend about fights. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
bro, you should bet on this fight. Guaranteed. Adam Pemberton, Bobby Green. I said that's the dumbest. I don't know how he's the underdog. One, he's fighting in his hometown, which obviously we saw two fights before that. Guys literally had lost in his hometown, but that's not everybody. Patty
Mm-hmm.
Pimblett fighting in his hometown, a favorable matchup where Bobby Green can wrestle, but not to the, but he don't have great jiu-jitsu. And I said Patty Pimblett is a jiu-jitsu guy. And I was like, bro, once the fight gets to the ground, he gonna sub him. I didn't know what round, but I said Patty's gonna sub this guy. And lo and behold, first round. I don't know why
Yeah.
Bobby Green shot on him. It was the dumbest thing. Bobby Green was piecing him up on the feet a little bit. He shot on Patty. Patty pulled the guillotine, switched from the guillotine to the triangle slash armbar, and put him to sleep. And I'm like, y'all,
Wow.
like I don't even know how Vegas who made these odds.
How good are you? Like, what do you think your record is at picking fights like that? You think you're pretty spot on?
I'm pretty
You
consistent. I won't say I'm perfect.
you
Because
hit more than you miss though, right?
I do hit more than I miss. Yeah, because some of this stuff is pretty. It be
Mm-hmm.
like pretty obvious, and like when you see the betting odds, it'd be weird. But I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's guys that just watch the sport rather than guys that actually do it. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy to me some of the odds that I see, like the odds for Bilal Muhammad and Leon Edwards, who we'll get to. But I'm like, why is Leon so heavy of a favorite? I was like, this is not a good matchup. I did think I said Leon has good enough grappling to stop that. But I'm like, this is not a minus 300 or minus 200 type favorite fight. This is more, all I felt like it was a pick 'em. I felt like it was a pick 'em. It could have went either way. But man,
Mm-hmm.
I don't be know what these betting odds guys be doing some of these times.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we'll get to the co-main, Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blades. Um, I definitely would like to see Curtis Blades win, but Aspinall, man, oh my gosh, best heavyweight on the planet. John Jones is the GOAT, don't get me wrong. Aspinall right now, since John Jones hasn't fought in a long time, Aspinall is the best heavyweight on the planet.
Yep.
The brother is so fat. He moves so good for a freaking heavyweight. Not only on that, he got grappling and he got power in his hands. He dropped Curtis Blades with a jab. A jab. And not only did he beat him in 1 minute. The exact timing for the fight was round one, 1 minute. He beat the brother in 1 minute. Curtis Blades, who has
Ridiculous.
been running through people. You just beat Curtis Blades. So Aspinall not only beat somebody, he beat Curtis Blades in 1 minute, and he also knocked out Sergey Pavlovich, the Russian killer, in the first round. He's knocked out just about everybody in the first round. This man is a killer, bro. Um, Aspinall, if John Jones, I think John Jones is going to beat Stipe in November. If John Jones beats Stipe and they fight, him and Aspinall, most people are considering, from what I have heard from inside sources, most people think John Jones is going to retire after Stipe. But if he does not, and he fights Tom Aspinall,
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it, man. I don't see how Jones. I really Jones. Jones, I don't know, man. I don't see him beat him. And I know people want to see Alex Pereira go up to heavyweight. Alex Pereira cannot beat Aspinall. Like, yeah, okay, boom, on the feet, the left hook and knock anybody out. Yes, don't get me wrong. Aspinall ain't no stupid idiot. He's taking that guy down. And the moment he gets taken down, it is over. Because Aspinall has incredible jiu-jitsu. So I don't know how anybody beats him right now. Be straight
Yeah.
up frank with you. I really don't. So
That's
um
what I'm looking at now. I'm watching the highlight of Aspinall knocking him down with that jab.
yep, yep.
Yeah. Good
Mm-mm.
fight. All right. What about the last one? Bilal Muhammad and Leon Edwards.
And Leon Edwards, man. Now, look, like I said, I didn't like the odds of how things were going at first, but you know what? I was like, you know what? It is what it is. These folks are just gonna say what they're gonna say. Um, I didn't agree with people talking about, um, like I didn't agree with people talking about like Bilal being boring. He's not that good. He does this. He does that. Yes, Bilal Muhammad. I think his record is. I'm gonna go exactly to it right now. My bad. Bilal Muhammad record is 24-3. All right, 24-3. Out of those
Mm-hmm.
24 wins, he has 18 decisions. So the man don't finish
Yeah,
nobody.
he likes to take it to
Um,
the end.
and he literally is like he's never dropped nobody in the UFC, I believe as well. He has a knockout, a TKO knockout against Sean Brady, but it was he just beat him up too much on the feet, but he was still standing. He was just getting a bunch of blows, but he stayed standing the whole time. I think that's his only knockout of his career. So, and I think I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Bilal just I he has a weird style. I mean, it's not a
Mm-hmm.
weird style, but he just it ain't something that you necessarily look forward to. I can tell you that much. It's gonna be a lot of decisions. Yeah, yeah. So like, yeah, he's only has two TKOs in the UFC, and he's been in the UFC for a long time. He's been in the UFC since um 2016. So Bilal Muhammad, his style, he puts a lot of pressure on you. He don't get tired. Very Russian esque, very Habib esque. Gets the takedowns. Problem with Bilal, he don't do heavy ground and pound. He holds you in position and does these little small punches. I
Little
mean,
hammer.
little
Yeah.
hammer. It's scoring
Mm-hmm.
points, but it's not doing anything.
Yeah.
It's not gonna stop you. You're winning, but it's not gonna do anything. Um, and Leon Edwards cannot do anything to stop it. I mean, now I'll tell you one thing: Bilal with that jab yesterday, phenomenal. And when he would shoot and lock his hands, boy, he would pick up Leon and he was ragdolling Leon for 5 rounds. It was an absolute domination for 5 rounds. Now, yes, Leon did take us back, I think, round three. And then at the end of the round five, he got on top and he threw an elbow, which cut Bilal Muhammad. But
Mm.
besides that, bro, 5 rounds of domination. Bilal Muhammad literally said he trained with Habib. Habib came up with a good game plan. And he's like, I trust it. Well, most of these guys that have been training with Habib, they're gonna be hard to beat.
Yeah, they
That's
are.
just the way their styles are, man. They're hard styles to beat. And I said matchup wise, it was it was gonna be a hard matchup for freaking Leon Edwards. So it's amazing, man. It's amazing. And a lot of people are mad that he's the champion because they say he's boring. But if you're mad at something, beat it. If you can't beat
Yeah,
it, I mean, this
yeah.
man is literally on a
Who can
what?
control that? You can.
You
You
can.
can
That's right.
change it.
He's on a 10 fight win streak. Nobody. Obviously, he beat Gilbert Burns. He
So
beat Vicente.
who will be next then to go against this guy? You think?
You got Shavkat Rakhmonov. He's really
Mm-hmm.
good. Undefeated. I think he's 17-0 or 18-0, one of them. All finishes. That's very rare to have, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody to have that many wins and that many finishes. That's special. So you got Shavkat. You got Ian Gary. I don't think Ian Gary could beat him. I'm not sold on Ian Gary. Um, you got Usman, who's still there.
Yeah, he's still
Potentially.
hanging
Or
around.
Usman.
He'll play the game
And
too. He'll play the game of just do what you got to do to win as well.
he will. He
He's
will. So
proven
it'll,
that.
it'll be it'll be who can do their game better.
Yeah, yeah.
And who else you got? Oh, and JDM, Jack Della Mandela, whatever his name
Mm.
is. JDM.
Mm-hmm.
So you got him. So you got a few undefeated prospects right there on the cusp, but it's just a hard style to deal with, man. People don't understand
Yeah.
that's just a hard style to deal with, no matter what your style is. Because you have to deal with their cardio. Two, you have to deal with that pressure. And three, you have to deal with their grappling. And those are
It's
things
not
that
easier said than done.
it's easier said. Like you know what's coming and you can't stop it.
Yeah,
That's what I like
yeah.
them so much. Like
It's
you know
crazy.
what they're gonna do. You know how they're gonna
I'm
do
gonna tell you what I'm gonna do, and I'm still gonna do it.
it.
I don't know. It reminds me of like what's it like that story about Larry Bird? He's like, what I'm about to do, I'm about to come over to this corner, hit this three, and I'm gonna win the game or whatever. And then he goes and does it. It's just that kind of confidence is just ridiculous, man.
It
It's
is,
just
and it
ridiculous, but
reminds
it's
me like
cool.
it's like Alabama. You know, all them years
Yeah,
when they have all them running backs winning Heisman, you knew what they were going to do,
we're gonna grind and pound you. We're gonna play defense, and you're not gonna do a
defense,
thing about it.
and you couldn't do nothing about it
Mm-mm.
because they're so good at the basics. And I know a lot of people get mad at guys like Bilal or Habib or Islam, but those guys are so good at the basics.
Yeah,
It's nothing.
can't do
I'm
nothing about
telling
it.
people, it is nothing crazy or extraordinary that they're doing. Because I watch a lot of film. It's nothing that, oh my gosh, Man, I don't know what they're
It's like
doing.
attention to
No,
detail.
it's the attention to detail, how much they how much they the repetitions that they do on it. These guys, the things
They're
that go
perfecting it.
that happen instant. Get a grip. Oh, when you place your hand, oh, I got a grip. Where I place my leg, oh, I got the leg. What they don't think about it. It's just automatic
It's
repetition.
just motion. It's like you're a machine at that point. That's crazy.
Yep. Yep.
Crazy, but it's respectable though. I mean, you
It is.
gotta at some point you have to respect that kind of thing. Like
You got to
if you can
respect it.
compete
They're
at that
winning.
level,
Those
it's
those those
ridiculous.
Russians, the Muslims fighters that over there, they're winning. And ain't no
No,
Corey
yeah.
Stanhagen got to fight Umar Nurmagomedov next week. See, you
Oh, does
already
he?
Nurmagomedov. What? Guess what we saw yesterday?
About to have a
I was
hard
gonna
day of
say
work.
that. Yeah,
Yeah, you're about to have a hard day of work. You're gonna pay for it the
hard day
next
at work.
day.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
You
it's
better come
happening
ready.
in every weight class. It's not like they're only doing it in one weight class. They're going to
Takeover.
multiple weight classes. They had 45. Like you got Usman Nurmagomedov in Bellator. He's the champion. He's doing it. Umar Nurmagomedov at 135. Mohammed Mokayev at 125. Bilal Muhammad now at 170. You have Habib at 55. You have Islam there. I mean, who stop them? Somebody stop
Yeah,
these guys. Like
no, it's
you
just a
can't.
takeover, Russian
Yeah.
takeover. Oh man! All right, so let's look at the Olympics, man. And more importantly, let's take a look at really the U.S. men's basketball team. All right, I've been keeping up with them for a while. You know how much you've been keeping up with them, Torres. I've been watching their friendlies, them going against Australia. You know, I took a little, a gander at that. Watched them the first friendly against Serbia. They actually played Serbia today. We'll get into that here in a second. But they played Serbia in a friendly just to kind of warm up, prepare, scrimmage in a sense to get
Mhm.
ready for these actual games. And then they also played South Sudan. And I don't know if you caught that one,
I
but
did. Yes.
they about blew it. They
They
about
did.
blew it. Like that would have been like
Yeah.
an all time underdog story. That's the first year South Sudan has really made it at a level like this internationally where they're competing in basketball. And they took USA down to the wire. Now, regardless if it's a friendly or not, that means something. And I'm pretty sure they beat I think it's the Dominican Republic. South Sudan beat today,
Right.
or yesterday, something like that. But USA had their game today against Serbia. Serbia, of course, being led by Nikola Jokic. They also have
Mhm.
Bogdan Bogdanovic, of the
Mhm.
Hawks. They got a couple other guys. Nikola Jovic, he plays for the Heat, and they got a couple other
Mhm.
guys that are pretty good. And really, the story of the day ended up being Kevin Durant coming back from injury, and literally, I'm pretty sure I'll
Went
have to check
perfect.
the stat again. He was perfect from the field. Dude didn't miss a shot. Like, and I didn't get to watch it live. I was watching church. Had that pulled up, but then I went back and watched it later when I went to my parents. Pulled that up. Me and Dad looked at it. We were watching that. Literally, KD just coming in, just boom, 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 just down the man. It was sick. And then at one point, LeBron and him were both perfect from the field, like literally deep
First
into
half.
the game.
They were both
LeBron
perfect.
ended up missing, like, I think he ended up missing 5 shots. But
Mhm.
this USA team, they're pretty freaking good, man. They're pretty
Mhm.
freaking good. And I know there's been some things brought up, one of which being that last spot that got opened due to Kawhi Leonard dropping out. Um, it was available for a little while there. Some of the names that got brought up were Kyrie Irving, who we just saw from your Dallas Mavericks go to the NBA Finals, and also Jalen Brown, MVP, Finals MVP, right? Um, so, do you think they made the right decision by picking Derek White over those two? That's my first question for you. You know that's who they put in there, right? They picked
Ah,
Derek White.
that's rough. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's pretty rough. You pick. So I'm looking at the stats right now.
And
I
I'm
know.
willing to hear everything, but I know I'm gonna give you a different take just coming from somebody that does coach a sport. I'm not gonna act like I know everything, but I do see a viewpoint of how this does play out for Derek White's favor. But let me hear from you.
All right, first I know Tatum's got to be on the team because I've seen him on
He
Instagram
is.
posts. Okay,
Didn't
he
play
just
a
been
minute
playing.
though. Didn't play a
He just
minute
been
today.
playing today. That's wrong. One minute.
Him or Halliburton.
Okay, because I'm looking at the stats and I'm like, I see no Tatum on here. But okay, White being chosen over them, that is pretty like rough. Um,
Some people say it's because Jalen Brown didn't get picked due to something with Nike. Like it was he's not with Nike or something like that. That's what they think. That's one of the conspiracies.
I mean, that could be, the
Yeah,
powers that be up high. Little do you know how sometimes that stuff
like he
actually
runs
does.
them Olympics, man. Like he runs them Olympics.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. But what I don't like is people being absolutely stupid. Well, I mean, Steph Curry sound well, I know, but you can't be that blatant. I
Yeah,
understand that
but
you can't be that
it's
blatant.
Curry. It's Curry. You know what I'm
It's
saying? It's
Curry.
Curry.
You can't be
Like,
that blatant.
yeah,
But you got the man that has signed the biggest contract in the history of the NBA. He also
it's true.
just won Finals MVP, just won a championship for his team. If anything, if there's any spot open, he should have been already on the first ballot of guys. But if there's any spot open, he should have been in there because did not
Mm-hmm.
last I remember during the Warriors run when they had those Olympics during those times, didn't Clay Thompson be on the USA team one of those years?
I think so. I think you're correct.
Exactly, and he obviously was not to the level of the caliber of those other guys. Was he really good? Yes, don't get me wrong. Yes, Clay Thompson,
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal, but he wasn't to that level of those other guys. So let's just say, boom, if you want to call Jalen Brown the two guy of the Celtics and give him Tatum, Jalen Brown is technically, in regards, a better player than what Tatum was in 2016. All right, so because of that, Jalen Brown obviously should.
I've got a hot take coming. I've got a hot take.
I would like to hear it then. But I actually think Jalen Brown for sure should have been on the team. If not, and then you should have had at least Kyrie. But I know how Kyrie is sometimes. But you
Yeah.
should have had at least Jalen Brown on that team, man. I think he really does deserve it. I know people talking about because of who he is, and like he don't move the needle like most people would think. Oh, he's boring, or he's not like the other guys that's sporadic out there.
Mm-hmm.
But who cares? It's about basketball. The guy wins, and I think Jalen Brown for sure should have been on his team.
And, you know, just for the points that you just made, I think that might be why Derek White was picked. And here's why. Let me lay it out to you. Let me lay it out how I think it probably played out. Kawhi being Kawhi,
Mhm.
being the quiet savant that just stands in the background. He's not going to draw a bunch of attention. He's going to play defense. He's going to get boards. You know, we've heard all the stories. Board man gets paid. You know, all that kind of stuff. Like, you know, the way he just the way he's wired. He don't have to be the main guy. He can be a supporting player. He can step up where needed in order to help the team win. That's where I think it kind of came into play, especially over Kyrie Irving. I mean, Kyrie, he's often looked at as a guy that's a little bit of, he can be a little selfish at times. I think he helped himself a lot this season. Being, the number two player, I guess you could say, for the Mavericks
Mhm.
behind Luka Doncic. Be willing to take that role and work with it and adapt, and then win to the degree that these guys did. But Jalen Brown, that's the one. Like you said, if either one of them had a case, I think it would be Jalen. I think Jalen, especially of the two, would have the case, and I think you agree with that as well. My hot take is, I think, and I don't think you could do this, but screw it. I put Jalen Brown over Jason Tatum on this Olympic roster. That's just me.
That's not a hot take no more because I think they're more like yin, yin and yang. Like they're
Yeah.
even. They're here. Like yes, you most of the time have
I
a
feel like you'll just about go get shot, like saying something like that on Twitter, though. Like somebody will be like, "How dare you say that about Jason Tatum?" To me, Tatum, he's good, but y'all, like, I don't know if he's at this level that these people like to try to make him out to be. And I mean, you could point to today not getting a single minute in a game against who most would consider to probably be your biggest opponent in this group. I mean, outside of this group, I think they got, who else do they have to play in this group? I have to look it up. But in their group, Serbia is the main competition, I believe. And if you're not getting minutes in that, then I mean, yeah, you might can get some minutes against some more of the scrubby teams, I guess you could say. I hate to kind of put it at that level, but um, I just don't know what to do with it, because I mean, Jalen Brown, I think he's gained the respect that has been given to him. With him getting the Eastern Conference MVP and getting the Finals MVP, being that guy that plays defense, being that guy that goes gets boards, being that guy that's relied on night to night to score. Not necessarily being the primary scorer, but scoring when he needs to. I think he's made a good case for himself, and I think that's where Derek White comes in. I think they looked at it like, hey, we already got Drew Holiday. He can man up the whole length of the court, and then if we get Derek White, we could give Drew a break, and then we can full court press, with him the length of the court. And you know what Derek White's going to say? Absolutely nothing. He's going to say yes, sir, and he's going to do it, or yes,
exactly.
coach, I'm going to do it. He's just that kind of player, and to be fair, he's made a good case for himself. He was a great 3-point shooter this year. He plays great defense. He's a great rebounder for a guard. The dude, like literally, if you look at the numbers, the dude rebounds ridiculous for a guard. So, I mean, I don't think you could go wrong with either one, but I do think probably Jaylen Brown should have got a crack at it before Derek White. But that's beside the point. Outside of that, the other things that have been kind of brought up, Joel Embiid, it's been a fun, interesting thing. People have been calling for Embiid to get benched literally the whole time U.S. men's national team's been playing. They think AD should be the one starting, and I'm on that boat as well. Embiid got absolutely bullied by Jokic today, but then again, who won't, necessarily? I mean, it's hard to judge somebody off that, throwing up your hands. It's exactly the point.
Yeah.
But Embiid was also taking some stupid shots. He's playing the game that FIBA puts out. FIBA, it's a different ball game. In these international games, there's different rules. You can
I say the rules are not
Colton.
the same. Yeah, they're not the same
Yeah,
as.
you can go to as soon as that ball hits the rim, you can pop it off. LeBron literally did it today. You can as soon as it hits the rim, you can pop it off. You can block it. Like you can do like that. You're not gonna get these calls that you get, man. Embiid has gotten so used to doing these flops, and I know it's a normal thing for people to complain about, but he's been trying it in these games where he'll back up and do like a little flail. They're not calling that, bro. You're not getting that. You're not
I
getting
bet
it.
the referees are like, what is that?
You're not getting that here. You're not getting it, man. And it's just not working. I'd rather bring him off the bench, but hey, Steve Kerr, you do what you want to do. I know that the French people were pretty pissed off because I think there's some relation to him being French in a way, or I think even at one point he could have claimed one of the African nations, maybe Nigeria or something, because I think he kind of grew up there for a little bit. But they're like, give us your passport. You don't deserve, our passport, all that kind of stuff. So that's been a funny thing to follow. But they look pretty dominant. And one of the things people have been throwing up lately, dude, is that this team could beat the 1992 Dream Team. I wanted to see your reaction on that.
I mean, you have to for one, you have to always account for rules at times, how people play at times.
I knew I'd get a good reaction from you on this one.
Dude, at this point, especially when anytime anybody argues about athletes and stuff of that nature, Isaiah Thomas went on Twitter and said he don't think LeBron James would have been the best athlete in the 60s. Now,
that's not true.
Now, hold up. This is where you have to play the game. Because I've said this before. If LeBron James was born in the 60s and taught how to play basketball in the 60s, he would not be the player he is now. Reason why? Because one, they wouldn't have had those advancements at the time. They would have taught LeBron how to play like a big man. LeBron would have been more closer to Wilt Chamberlain.
Bill Russell. Yeah, he would have been like Bill Russell, literally, because I mean, he's at Bill Russell's height just about now. I mean, think both of them were like 6'9", yeah.
Just like that.
Athletes, freaks.
That's it. That's all he would have been. He would have been shooting. He would have been driving and dunking. No. It would have been basic big man basketball. That's how he would have been taught. So now
there would have been a point where he would have gotten to the assist level, because even Chamberlain got to that level. There was literally one season that Chamberlain, I know he chased after the assist. He wanted to be he literally the whole season, his emphasis was, I'm going to be the assist leader in the NBA, just to do it. Selfish thing to do, but just to do it. And I think there would have been a point where it would have came down to that. And even Bill Russell, he's been known to come out and say, be a team player, make those around you better players, and that's how you can be a good teammate. There would have been some cases in that, but I do get where you're saying. He really would have been like that. He would have been like a Bill Russell, I think.
Yeah, I can see that. But that's the thing. You can't utilize advancements of today and be like, well, LeBron would have been just running through the 60s. Yeah, with advancements of today, and you put all
if you took him back then, he'd be like an alien.
Yeah, he'd be an alien. Yeah. It would be fair. I agree with you. It would
really
be fair. But
yeah, I know where you're getting at. I think you're telling the truth.
If you bring Bill Russell to today and give, or Wilt Chamberlain to today and give those guys those advancements that we have, all right?
But now compare that to the 1992, though, because we're not too far off.
Yes, we are. Yes,
in what way? Lay it out.
The game is complete. Dude, even in the 90s.
I mean, I understand the three-point revolution. I understand that.
I'm not even talking about the three-point revolution. I'm talking about how people treat their bodies. I'm talking about how people recover. Dude, you have people smoking cigars.
Oh, yeah, like technology. Yeah,
doing all that stuff before the game. Like, that's the stuff that they eat now. People would eat McDonald's before the game because that was normal. That was normal,
Embiid
bro.
still does it from time to time. I've seen him on the
See,
stretch
there you
table
go.
eat a
Like
cheeseburger. That's
now,
part of his problem.
that's why he's so big now.
Yeah,
But now you got athletes focusing so much on their body. And yes, there's
yeah.
more toward the athlete, but now the reason
I'm talking
why
about though the way the game is played though. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it that far off?
a little bit, yeah.
I
Because
mean,
the
I think
game,
there's more emphasis on 3 points, but you got to think even
but
when
it's
they went.
fast.
And I know that I knew the bad boy Pistons was around. If we were looking at regular season NBA, yes, they used to beat the piss out of each other. But when it came time for Olympics, were they allowed to do that? I don't think so, right? You
Do
know,
you
they
think the
weren't out
game was
there.
faster? I think the game is faster now. That's that's
Yeah,
that's why
yeah,
that's
it has
why
gotten
that's why I
faster.
see there's a difference. That's why I see there is a difference. Like
But
you
I mean, you
can't
can't tell me that the game was slow necessarily all the time when the 1992 Dream Team was just tearing folks up. You know, they were
no,
going up
no,
and down the
no,
court,
it
just
wasn't
running it
slow.
out.
But people was already talking about there's a difference in the game in 2008 when
Yeah,
it was the Redeem Team. So during the Redeem Team time, if you think there was a change in the game at that time, we're 16 years from the Redeem Team. Like
yeah,
obviously the game is surely
crazy to
has
think
changed.
about
I know that is crazy to think about. Now you're making me think I'm old, but we're
for real.
16 years away from the Redeem Team. So the question is, could they beat the Redeem Team? Like this is a good team. Don't get me wrong. This is a really good team.
Yeah,
Um,
it's one of
but
the most stacked we've had.
those factors will always come into play for me, especially. Like you just can't pick and place somebody in a situation without adding the advancements or taking away the advancement, depending on what area you put them in. If you put Michael Jordan in today's era and you give him the advancements that he would have the opportunity to utilize, don't tell me you don't think he would be better. He wouldn't
Oh,
be
it'd be
better.
amazing.
He
It'd be
would be
amazing. Yeah,
even better.
even
Like
better.
you have to
Yeah,
think about that.
I think you're
I
correct on that.
also, when I'm taking LeBron, and I put LeBron in a certain era, and I said, all right, we got to take these advancements away from you that will help make you the stuff you do for your body, the stuff that was made you what you are now. Like when you just think about them only as a football player, that's why I'm not sorry, football player, basketball player, but that's why when people talk about Tom Brady, yes, he's my GOAT. I think he's the GOAT.
Yeah,
For certain
I
quarterbacks.
agree with you as well.
But if you take Joe Montana and put him in today's time with the advancement, with the rules, with the way they do things, with the way the offenses are ran now, because back then it was not a heavy passing type football. It was mainly running. The game would be different.
Yeah,
I mean, you have to always throw that into account with errors. That's why you can never just go in and like tell people like, well, Bill Russell sucks. He played nobody, blah, blah, blah. No, 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 no. He played the best guys at that time. Granted, they're not on
and
the
he
level
and
of
he won more often than not.
exactly.
So
Exactly. Like I can't get mad. How are we gonna get mad at Bill
he
Russell
would
for
be the
being better
guy.
than
He
me?
would be the guy that was way taller than him, that arguably was more talented than him, and
Yes.
he would still just do it. He would still do it. So yeah,
Like
you got
that's
to
right.
respect Bill Russell.
Like my granddad will always say, he was like back in the 60s, they always used to say tall men couldn't walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. If you were tall, more than likely you was unathletic. And
Hmm.
then came Bill Russell. There was a few more here and there, but Bill Russell was the best out of all of them. And then
Yeah.
obviously you had Wilt. So when you would see those guys, you'd be like, oh man, that's different. You gotta remember, like people don't think at that time, we're thinking, yeah,
Kareem was like a
hey,
big deal because he was pretty skilled
Kareem was a
to
big deal because
be
he was
as big
skilled.
as he
That's right.
was.
He
Yeah,
was.
that's
When
why
you
he
would
was
see
such a
those,
big to do.
when you would see those things and you
Bill
see
Walton, Bill Walton, even like Walton was like a revolution, like the way
he
he could
was
handle
game.
and pass and everything as big as he was. Like both of them, both from UCLA, but they were both looked at it like that.
At that
You're
time,
right.
when you would see those players, you automatically thought, man, how can it get better than this? Same way we are with technology. The moment the internet came out, man, how can it get better than this? Boy, look how far we have advanced since then.
Yep.
People look at LeBron James. I already hear it now. Man, how can we get better than this? In about 30 years, we're gonna be like, freak, that's crazy. Like
Yeah.
we're seeing linemen run 4.6s, 4.7s. How can you get better than that? Like this is
Yeah.
crazy. Like that's the advancement of the athletes, along with the medicine, along with the knowledge, like
Yeah.
along with the technology, man. So I always put that into account when you're making these era arguments.
Yeah.
I used to just be, oh, I didn't place him here. No, as I continue to think, as I continue to be more of an athlete myself, and thinking about how they used to do things back then, like ACL recoveries. ACL recoveries, you take ACL, people used to think that was the end
You
of
were
your
done.
career.
That
Yeah,
was like an Achilles,
that was Achilles. Yeah,
Now even Achilles is you can still come back from.
exactly. You
Yeah,
can
you're
come
right.
back from it. Like
Because I
times have
think that's
changed.
what ended Isaiah Thomas was an
Mhm.
Achilles,
It was.
and now you see like KD coming back from Achilles. You see
Mhm.
like these Kobe, didn't he come back from
Kobe.
Achilles?
Yes, he
Yeah, like
did.
there's all these
Klay
guys that are
Thompson.
coming back from. Yeah,
That's right, Klay
it's
Thompson. So
crazy. It's crazy.
you see those things. No, Klay
I'll
Thompson was
say
Achilles or ACL. It was both, right?
may have been both. May
It
have
was
been
both.
both. May have been both. But I'll say this as far as the then versus now argument. I think that looking at that, starting five, just if we're just looking at starting five from that dream team, they would definitely out physical this year's starting or today's starting five. Today's starting five was Drew Holiday, Devin Booker, Steph Curry, LeBron, and Joel Embiid. They would definitely in the dream team one. It was Magic Johnson, who was like a 6'8" point guard.
Uh,
Jordan, he's gonna out physical. Ewing, Karl Malone, and Pippen. Bigger,
Ooh,
stronger, at muscle. Everything. They could out physical you. Now this team today, they could out finesse them. They could get around. They could speed the game up. They could run around, all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
It's just all a preference of how, gameplay and things like that. So and that's discounting KD coming off the bench and all that today because obviously he did play a big role in today's game, but it's just something that they are talented. It's just everything's subjective when it comes down to it. Like you said, you
It
got to
is.
take everything into account as far as
You just
errors and
can't
things
go.
like
You
that.
just can't go by who is better. It's
Yeah,
not. It's not that black and white
it's not
because
apples to apples.
it's not.
You know,
It's not.
yeah.
Now, if you want to talk about today and be like, all right, who's better, LeBron and KD? You can do that type of stuff today because they're
Mm-hmm.
both playing in the same era. They both get a chance to
Mm-hmm.
play each other. It's different today. They have
Yeah.
both have the same opportunities. They both have the same things they can work along. It's equal. All right.
Yes.
But if you're going from different eras, I can't make that same case. I have to add in what was allowed. Now, when we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
accomplishments, the GOAT argument, stuff like that, it's about what you've done in your era.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
when people talk about, well, LeBron James played harder teams, I will say that he did play harder teams in the finals. He did. But
Mm-hmm.
on the path towards the finals,
It was
Jordan played
easy.
on had a harder run compared to LeBron. Like, yes, LeBron had to play.
Going through. Yeah, because I mean,
He had to go through
you had
the
to go through
Hawks at the
those
time,
Knicks
the
teams were
Knicks,
good.
the
The Knicks were
Cavs.
good.
Um,
Cavs had a good team there for a
had
little
a
bit.
really
Yeah.
good team. You
Yeah.
had obviously the Pistons. You had
Yep.
my gosh, who else? The Magics,
Yeah.
Orlando Magic.
Magic were good there for a bit.
Those are
Yeah.
a few teams that you had. And people don't understand the 76ers. Literally, the reason why Charles Barkley, he left the 76ers like, man, I can't make the finals in Philly. He said, I would love to win championship in Philly. But I can't even make the finals. I got to go through MJ. He goes to the West, get on the Suns. The first year, he wins MVP and makes it to the finals. Guess who he runs right back into? The same man that kept putting
Michael
him out in
Jordan.
the East. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
I was reading this book by Phil Jackson this summer too. He even paid this guy, this heckler, to come in to the games and just try to screw with Michael Jordan, and it still wouldn't work, man. Like he even paid this dude, like it was crazy. So
yeah. So
wild
like that,
stuff.
you have to always throw those things into account. But
Yeah,
again, now as I'm looking more, you have to look at errors. I look at things now from both sides now, and because I'm
gotta
seeing
try to.
a lot more things, understanding some things behind the scenes, uh,
Mm-hmm.
just seeing some of the things of my own experiences. So it comes to, okay, well, I see why he makes this decision, or I see why this goes on. Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't
Yeah,
fault him, but
yeah.
errors change for a reason. So
Yep. All right, man. So to cap things off here, I know you've went and seen the latest movie, so you could tell us a little bit about that, the new Deadpool with Wolverine, and I also want to hear what you thought because I think it's Comic-Con going on right now, right?
it is.
There was some big stuff released from there, so let me hear your full takes on this. Go ahead.
All right, Deadpool and Wolverine. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. It's a good
Okay.
movie. I enjoyed it. I felt the storyline was a little quirky at times, a little all over the place here and there. That's why I dropped my score a little bit. Action was phenomenal. They brought in Logan really well, which is obviously Wolverine. Deadpool, him and Wolverine had funny scenes together. It's a very hilarious movie. Lot of good jokes. If you are a big Marvel fan and has followed all the Marvel movies, you'll get majority of the jokes. If you follow the stuff that goes on behind the scenes in Marvel, you'll get even more of the jokes, like the things going on with Fox and the things going on with Marvel or the head Marvel guy or the other people. Like
What's
you make
Fox?
Fox, the one that owned the Marvel superheroes beforehand. And they owned X-Men. They used to own the Hulk.
Oh,
They
okay.
used to own some of the heroes, the cameos that are in the movie. They own some of those. Now it's switched
Mm-hmm.
over. So yeah, it was a good movie, man. It was a good overall movie. I enjoyed it, and it's more of an introduction movie to allow these guys, like, hey, we're putting these guys into the MCU now. So it allowing people to now see, oh, this is what we're gonna be dealing with, and going on to Comic Con, which is a little bit off the rails from Deadpool and Wolverine, but yes, Robert Downey Jr. is playing Doctor Doom. That is interesting. That is an interesting move. I'm a big comics guy. There was a time where Tony Stark variant did become
That's what I
Doctor
heard. I
Doom,
heard that's what I was saying. Variant. He was a variant of it.
a
Yeah.
variant, yes, in a different universe.
Mm-hmm.
But
Which that seems like that's the big deal right now is
it
the
is,
multiverse stuff.
it is. But I listen real hard on these words. Feige did say they announced him as Victor Von Doom. Victor Von Doom is the actual name for Doctor Doom. I don't think they're bringing him in as a Tony Stark variant. I think they're making him the actual Victor Von Doom.
How's
So
that gonna
everybody's
work?
asking, how can they do that? Well,
Yeah.
we just want to find out and see. But who says you can't play two of the same characters in the same movies?
Do
You
you
know,
like that? Tell the truth,
it's
because
it's it's
the way things
weird.
ended, the
It's
way
weird.
things ended in the Infinity War and everything, I thought that was a very fitting, you know, send off. You
But
know,
he's not.
that was really good.
Well,
And then
see,
same thing goes for Logan, right? That was a very emotional, awesome way to send somebody off. But then we keep bringing them back.
hey, hey, that dollar has. Hey,
Yeah,
that
I
dollar,
know where you're going. I know where you're going with it. But what do you feel? I know they want the money, but
bro.
what do you feel like as a fan? Because I know you're a big Marvel guy. Do
So think
you
about it
really
like
agree with this?
so think about it like this. I don't agree with it, but I look at it from the other side. Let's just say you, casual fan. All right, man, big fan. Boom. We got, man, Wolverine can be a part of the MCU. Man, I want to see an Avengers versus X-Men movie. Or I want to see Avenger and X-Men team up. Or Avenger and Fantastic Four. Or, okay, that's a lot of ideas. Do you really think Marvel is going to be okay with allowing Ant-Man and Squirrel Girl and all these folks and
Is that
Miss
really is
Marvel?
a Squirrel Girl a real thing?
Well, it's in the comics. I'm just coming up with, but it's actual hero. But I'm just saying,
Uh huh.
you think the Marvels, Miss Marvel and Captain Marvel and all these, you think they just go? You think they just going to allow them only to be the Avengers now? You got to be crazy. You already know. Now that was a great send off. Don't get me wrong, it's a great send off.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think because of the opportunities that's now been opened, has now changed some of the direction of what they really want to do. And because at a time they didn't have X-Men, at a time they didn't have full control over like Spider-Man, at a time they didn't have Deadpool. Now they have control over more
Because what
Marvel
Spider
characters.
Man was with Sony and
Yes.
yeah, all that. Yeah, I
So
remember all that.
people being with different companies, now since they're getting all these guys under one umbrella, they're like, man, we got a lot of opportunities now. People, I'm hearing people, man, I want to see Tobey Maguire Spider-Man meet up with Deadpool, meet up with Tony Stark.
Well, didn't that
Okay.
happen? Or
No, no.
not with Tony Stark, but didn't he
No.
come back though in the new Spider Man or whatever?
Yeah, yes, he was in a new
Yeah.
Spider-Man. But people want to see team ups. People want to see, dude, you can't, especially in that business, you can't leave anything on the table. You basically leaving money on the
They're
table.
gonna be
So
it's gonna
they're
be
going to do
going for a
everything.
while. This is gonna
There's
be going for a
so
while.
many, there's so many team ups
And
and fights.
but is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
Well, when the money hit their account, you
Yeah.
make that decision. I agree with you. Like Tyler, I do agree. I don't think it's. I don't necessarily like it in that fashion because
Mm-hmm.
you made a great death, and you're like, okay, we got to stick
Yeah.
with that.
I
You got
mean,
to ride
that was
that out.
just that was emotional. Like
It was.
everybody was in on that. Like it was just
It was.
now it's
But
just
see,
like,
that's
what
the
does that
thing.
mean?
It was emotional at that time.
Okay.
Now we're in different times. We gotta make
Yeah.
something else feel emotional. We gotta bring back this guy. We gotta bring back this guy. We gotta have a big mega fight. Cause guess what? In that movie theater, guess what you're gonna be like? Oh my gosh. When you see all of them on screen fighting each other, you're like, oh, this is
It will be
awesome.
cool. It will
You're
be
not gonna
cool.
be thinking about
It'll
that
be just
fight.
like that big battle in that last Avengers movie. It'll be about that big battle. Like
It
it will
will.
be cool. It will
It'll
be
be
cool.
epic. And you'll be like this. And granted, we'll be like, well, I wish they would have brought Tony Stark back, but that was really cool. I want to see it. So like
Yeah. People are still gonna pay.
they're gonna still pay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean they're playing the game, and plus even in the comics, guys would die and they'll get brought right back to life. It happened
Okay. So it's not
It
too
happened
far
all the time.
fetched.
It's not too far. It happened all the time because they knew. Like think about it in the comic books. If I killed, there was a comic where Batman died. If do you really think they gonna not ever make another Batman comic again? No. You knew they were going to find a way to bring him back to life, or it was going to be a fake Batman, or it was a variant, or it was something. You know they're going to come up with something. It's the way it's always been. They can't kill off their main moneymaker. They killed off Robert Downey to give him a good ending because he did say he wasn't going to play Iron Man no more. Same thing
Mm-hmm.
with Chris Evans saying he wasn't going to play Captain America no more. So they did all that. You saw how Marvel's been the last few years.
It
They're
ain't been going
basically
as
trying
good.
to make the Avengers with the secondary characters, which in the comics, that's how it happened. And very similar to the comics. Once people are like, I don't want to see no freaking Captain Marvel and that's my main Avenger. Well, all right. Comics weren't doing too good. Let's bring the big boys back. Oh, hey, the money's going back up. Hey, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. They better do something because like lately it's just been I feel like a lot of flops.
Did you watch the Marvels too? Captain Marvel 2?
I did not.
Exactly. That there you go. You asked my
I didn't
question.
watch the Madam Web or
It,
whatever. I
it,
didn't.
well,
Yeah,
man.
I'm not watching it, man. Last one I watched was Thor. What's the one? Love and Thunder. I think
Love
is what
and
it
Thunder,
was.
and that wasn't that great in
It
itself.
really wasn't.
That
It was okay. I expected more, man. I expected
that's what I'm
more. And
saying. They got to bring them back.
like I
They
don't know
need
what is the last good Marvel movie? It has to be the new thing, right? Deadpool and Wolverine.
well, yes, that. But
But what
before
about
that,
before that?
I would say Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
And that was good. That
That
was
was
good. I enjoyed that one. That one got real emotional, man. Oh,
that. Yeah, I had me end up about tearing up too.
Jesus. Yeah,
I like that
man.
one. That was
God.
good. Yeah, that was a good
Yeah.
movie. See, that was a
It
good movie.
was. It was solid. But to be fair, I mean, I don't really have an issue with any of the Guardians. Like they were actually really good. All three of
Yeah,
them.
I like all of
I
them.
was cool with. Yeah, they were good. It'll be interesting to see what they if they end up pulling something like that back again. But I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So well, man, anything else here you want to bring up before we end this thing?
No, not that I know of. That was good. I said my voice. I know I'm sounding raspy. My
Yeah.
voice from coaching my teammate Brevin. He got a big win on Karate Combat this past
Is
weekend.
that
So
the thing that you were at with Aljamain and all?
yes. He
Wow.
did a BJJ match, but yeah, Brevin got the
Mm-hmm.
win. Fight of the
Awesome.
night. He won by split decision. So for me
Wow.
yelling at him, that's where my voice is going. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Exciting
but
though.
he got the win. He got the win. That was good. We excited. Mhm.
Nice, nice. Well, what we're talking about doing next week, ladies and gentlemen, if you're tuning out there in podcast or you go back and watch this stream, we're looking at ranking the SEC teams based on how we think things will shake out for each team. We'll be looking at the wins and losses. We'll be ranking these teams from one to till we get to the last place in SEC. So we probably have an idea about who that'll be, but already. But we're looking at doing that. Maybe we'll even do. I mean, we haven't really discussed it, but maybe we'll even do a Big Ten because really, I don't think I see much going on outside of those two conferences this year, as far
Same.
as real potential title contenders. So We'll probably do that. But next week, if you're an SEC fan, tune in, man. We're going to be going at it. So thank you guys out there for listening in. If you're listening on podcast or if you're watching the stream, we appreciate all the support. If you want to support the show more, in this description of this podcast, you can click the Linktree link. You can support us in a multitude of different ways. Thank you guys for listening out there. And as always, we will see you next time.
Boom, boom.